Hey guys, I'm Dan the Upholsterer. How are we today? Today I am working on this chair. We are building a spring edge here, as you can see that. So a sprung edge here. So I've already started building the seat here. So part of the seat's already done. The way I've done this spring edge is it's it's what they call a gutted spring edge. So there's a gutter here. So this allows this edge to move independently from this. And now we're going to build this edge up and fill it all back here with coconut fibre and create an edge roll. And that's what we're doing today. So feel free, if you are watching and you want to ask questions, and I'll do my best to answer them. Anything about upholstery, doesn't have to be about this particular job in particular, but anything else, yeah, you're welcome. Just ask questions. So this is what we're going to do, and I apologise in advance, it is raining outside, so the tin roof is just getting all the raindrops, if you can hear them. I'm very sorry. Am I muted? Hope not. Hello? Am I muted? Am I muted? Is this working? Hold on. What's going on here? I've got red. Read notifications. Hold on. Sorry. Alright. So the internet's gonna be a bit shitty. Alright. Right, it's not muted. I don't think that's muted. Alright, my stream's in the red, which is not great. Yeah, stream's in the red. So it might be a bit laggy, I'm very sorry. Anyway, hopefully that will change and we'll just press on in the meantime. So this is our coconut fibre, and to start with our edge, all we do is we just tease this up, which means just break it up, because usually when you get it, it's all clumped together really hard. So you really stretch this out, break up all the big chunks, so it's easier to work with. Right, and then stuff it under our ties that we put here, and we shove it across there, and manipulate it like this. So again, we get more coconut fibre. Some more coconut fibre. And shove it in here. So this is what we call a traditional foundation. This whole seat here is what we call traditional foundation. It's all done with coil springs, webs, hessian, and threads to hold it all together. So we keep teasing this up. Keep stuffing it under the tires, which hold it in place for us. and then breaking up all the little pieces by pinching and pulling, and then really just trying to meld it all together as best as we can. So this piece here is basically the old seat I took out, and now I'm reusing it. So to reuse it, as I said, we just untease it all up, and even if you buy it in if you buy it from somewhere, it's still going to be clumped up. So this process here of tearing it apart and is part of the normal process. And when you've got this old stuff that's been in a lounge for 30, 40 years, it is full of dust. There is dust going everywhere right now. So our tie is getting very full. I can only just get that amount of coconut fibre in that edge. So again, I'm feeling with my fingers. I'm feeling where all the clumps are, and then I'm using my fingers to grab and pull it apart, and then try to blend it together as one. That's basically the first half done, so now we're going to do this half. So we grab more. This is all clumped up, so you can't just stuff it in like that. So we got to grab it, and we got to rip it all out. Rip it all out like this. I don't know if you can see on the screen, but this is so dusty. So dusty. And then we chuck that in there. And now the bits like this right here, bits like this right here, these you can't rip. They're actually like the skin part of the coconut, and you can't rip them apart. So if you feel those, you just throw them out. You just take them out of the chair, because eventually what will happen is bits like this, these hard bits, they will actually move, and it's not like that you'll feel them, but like when you sit on it, you would never feel it really, but it's best to get rid of them because they can pull down and then they make holes in your hessian. If they make holes in your hessian, then all of this will start falling through. So it's best to take them out, because over time of sitting on it and stuff, those things will just move down and down. They get pushed down, and eventually they work their way through the hessian, and if those big clumps make their way through the hessian, they do cause holes. And then once a hole starts in the seat, it's a cascading effect. Every time you sit on it, it rips a little bit more. So we try to avoid that as much as we can by taking all those, or anything that's really hard, to be honest, but just those bits in particular are best to take out. So grab, as I said, we just keep ripping all this out. So ripping all this out. It's very dusty. So as I keep saying, if you're watching and you need to ask a question, if you're here now, ask away. I can answer it. But if you're watching the replay of this, you can write a comment as well, and I'll definitely answer it. I don't get many comments, so if you have a comment, I'll feel excited about it. So at the moment I'm trying to work on this and keep it on. Hey yo Dark Wolf, how are you, man? How are you? Thanks for dropping in. I need to change this to all chat. Hold on. Live chat. Yeah. Alright. Hey yo, how are you, mate? Thanks for dropping in. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to my workplace. This is my shed in the backyard. I've insulated the walls. Yet to do the roof. So once I get the roof done, it'll be a lot more quieter in here. Especially, I mean, it's not raining at the moment, but I can still hear raindrops falling from the trees and stuff, dropping on the roof. You might be able to hear it too. But thanks for dropping in. Appreciate it. And this is what I do for my job. I do furniture upholstery, and I've just started my business full time. So now I'm here at home all the time. So you're probably going to see more streams. It all depends on whether I haven't decided which way I want to go yet. I mean, I could stream every day. I mean, if I stream every day, you know, I could stream for 6 hours a day if I wanted to. You know, just to do it, I could just do it. But half the time I want to be doing something interesting and informative. I mean, just basic upholstery. You know, I've already made videos on doing dining chairs and such, and if I do dining chairs, you know, it's the same sort of video again. I mean, to be honest, it's pretty much got to be the same all the time, right? You know, it's got to be basically the same process all the time, over and over. But so I haven't decided which way I want to go yet with YouTube. Because as I said, I could stream every day. I could. Stream every day, but it depends. If people want to see it, then I can do it. It's not a big deal to me. All I have to do is turn my laptop on. So it's not a big deal. If people want to hang out and they want to see what I'm doing, that's great. If you want to learn something, definitely come just hang out, because maybe you want to start your own DIY projects. I mean, this here is on the well, the professional side of upholstery. Really, you have to learn this to do it well. Really have to learn it, and you have to learn it from someone who knows how to do it. But basically, what I'm doing with this is hopefully raising awareness of how much work goes into these things sometimes and how long they take. You know, some people think it's just it's a quick fix. Well, you know, sometimes it isn't. Sometimes it isn't. Sometimes especially with jobs, these old ones like this, they're not easy. They're involved, very involved. Which is why labour rates go up so much when someone asks for a sprung edge or something. It's expensive. And then people say, well, I could buy a cheaper lounge, and you can. You definitely can. You know, you could buy stuff. You could buy a chair that looks like this, but is not a traditional foundation. You could make a chair exactly like this for, you know, $500, quite easily. I couldn't. Not in Australia, you couldn't. But overseas, they do. And then they come over here and they sell them for, you know, $700 or whatever. Make some profits. And that's what the Australian furniture market is like at the moment. So I'm very blessed to have people who want to get jobs like this done. Very blessed. This is not for me, by the way. This is a customer's job. So, what I'm doing at the moment is I've made my edge, and as we saw at the start of the video, I had my edge and I had my seat, and I said I'd built the seat already, and then the edge I've just built, and now the edge is up here and the rest of the seat is down there. So now I'm blending it back here first, trying to make it flat. After I've made it flat, then I'll add some contour to it, so it looks like a seat to start the foundation of the seat. This whole thing is the foundation of the seat. And as they say, proper foundations make for better whatever it is. Okay. I don't even know the bloody saying. But nothing's going to last without a good foundation, and on jobs like this, the foundation is very important. And this foundation that I'm building will last 20, 30, 40 years easily. It will start to sag and all that sort of stuff after 10, 15 years, but it will still be usable. It won't break. Because there's nothing in here that can break. It's literally the webs. The webs might break. They will definitely stretch and sink down eventually. But that will take at least 10, 15 years before that even happens. And so you know that with these pieces, I mean, I've got this, and this job had only been upholstered. It had been repaired once. It had two covers on the arms, so that means it had been the original and then upholstered once. And the person who upholstered it went over the top of the old fabric. I have taken this right back. All this went down to the frame, rebuilt right from scratch. And I am recycling all of the old stuff. So It's good for the environment too because I'm recycling. And anyone could see this chair and they could say, you know, it's not worth anything. You know, it's just this old chair. Well, it is. It's just this old chair, but there's three things about this chair that make it very unique. Number one, it was built, you know, in the early 1900s, most likely, or maybe 1930s, 1940s. I reckon this is probably 1940s. And the frame is so strong, like the wood is so heavy and thick, and you know, they didn't use pine back then. They used, you know, they used cedar, which is so strong, and it's so hard to get all the staples out of, and the tacks and stuff, because the wood is just so dense. You know, it's such a strong wood, and that's how they made all these things back then. They don't use that stuff anymore to build furniture like this. They might use cedar and stuff on, you know, nice looking stuff that's going to be polished, show wood and stuff. That's where they use it now these days because it's so expensive. But back when they were just building furniture, they had abundance of it, so they used it because it was strong, and it was. So all these things are just so heavy. It's just so heavy. So the frame's a good number one. Number two, that makes it, you know, good, and it's not just a piece of furniture, is this seat is top class. A sprung edge like this is premium, primo, very premium. And the comfort of them is not the best, but the longevity of them can't be matched. Can't be matched. Alright, so we're pretty close at the moment. Pretty close with where I want the seat to be. The next step after this is I need to go cut some hessian, which means I have to leave for a minute. So I don't keep my hessian in here, it's in my other shed. Oh man, this is dusty. Can you guys see the dust floating around that I'm teasing up from this? It's pretty... Anyway. I mean, it's very interesting. I feel like I've done enough on this seat, but this is all of the whole seat I took out of it. So that's really weird. I mean, I can still feel around the sides under here and stuff. But I don't use this for that. I use old flock and stuff. Because this stuff is expensive to buy. Flock is expensive to buy too, but second-hand flock I've got it in abundance, so I use that to fill in the sides after once I've done the hessian. But I almost feel like my seat is pretty much there. I could probably put more shape into it if I want. It won't hurt. But since I've got it, I think I will just put a bit more in. I mean, I do need more. I do need more in the middle. It's sinking down in the middle. It hasn't been sat down yet. So what I mean by sat down is it looks full, but when I press my hand on it, it sinks down because I've teased all this up. And instead of being like this, nice and flat, I've turned that into that. So that's why it looks full, but it isn't. So when I sit on it, it just compresses down. So I do need to put more in. You just have to keep feeling it. And the best bet to do is actually to sit on it. So if I do just grab my chair and I sit up on here, let's actually sit on it, I'll be able to feel how far this goes back. And that goes down a lot. Like I sat on it and then I went like this because this edge is strong here. So my legs are like this at the moment. So that needs a lot more in the back half of it. Yeah, definitely does. So yeah, when I sat on that, I felt it straight away. I felt it. This didn't move, and that fell down. So I really need to put a lot. Well, I got to put all of this in. I have to put all of it in. At least I know what I took out is going back in. So it's the same amount that I've put back in. I won't know about the flop. Because I do mine with foam overlays, so I'll flock a little bit. So I make my foundation. What makes me, I guess, a bit different to some other upholsterers around is I will mix traditional and modern together. I think foam feels so much nicer to sit on than to sit on straight flop. So if you sat on a traditional seat that's just flop, it's super hard. They always come out super hard. They do soften up over time, but when you initially sit on them, they're so hard. And it takes, it will take probably a year to 2 years before it actually starts feeling soft. And that's, in turn, a good thing, because like that's the longevity of it, right? But you buy a lounge these days and you sit on it, after 2 years, it's ruined, because they don't use quality foam. So you go out and buy a cheap lounge, it's not going to last long. Because it's cheap for a reason. They use cheap foam, and things are made to budgets, right? Furniture made these days is made to budgets. Alright, they're made to price points. And, you know, the furniture can be good. The majority of the time it's really bad. This job here that I'm doing is not made to a price point. It is because I quoted it, but I've quoted it to a quality that it needs to be to last for... I want my customers to have their lounge last 10, 15, 20 years easily. So I use top-end foams, I use top-end webbing, I use top-end everything because it's so much better. I also go to, you know, I also go to greater lengths with doing things that I actually don't quote for until, like, I'll quote something for somebody, and, you know, if they say, oh, you know, that's a bit expensive, can you do something about it? I say, yeah, I can. But it's not going to be better. I tell them. You want customer satisfaction over cost? Absolutely I do. Absolutely. Customer satisfaction is the number one, my number one thing, because I'm just starting out brand new. Not because I'm just starting out brand new, that's just my philosophy in general, but it's even more important that I'm starting my business now and I make sure that I do provide great customer satisfaction, because at the moment I haven't advertised anywhere, and I'm booked till Christmas right now. I have got so many jobs. But I wouldn't say I'm in high demand yet because nobody knows about me too much. I'm a one-man show in a 6x4 shed, you know, 6 meters by 4 meter shed in my backyard. Like, I've got no road appeal, nothing. Work from home. So the only thing I have is word of mouth. And literally my business started from word of mouth. I haven't advertised anywhere ever. My business has grown organically just by word of mouth, and now it's come to the point where I can take it on full time, which is great. And that's the best compliment I could get. You know, I haven't pushed myself in anyone's faces. It's just been word of mouth, which is, you know, great. So I can't complain. And as I said, I was taught, but the guy who taught me was very fussy, a very fussy man, very good upholsterer, very fussy. And when he taught me, he didn't hold back about every little thing, Because he didn't want to deal with customers who didn't like his work. He didn't want one little reason for a customer to pick anything on his job. They pick one thing, he says, they'll pick another thing, and then another thing. Once they find that one thing, it just snowballs. So you have to be in front of it and don't let them find it, or don't do it. And if you do make a mistake, you have to fix it. You can't just leave it. And that's the way I was taught with upholstery. And I apply that to pretty much everything anyway, you know, everything I've got to do for other people in life and such, you know. Just don't give them a reason to doubt you. Don't give them a reason to, you know, just do your best. Do your best. Do your best. Criticize yourself. Don't be afraid to take criticisms. It's, you know, that's the way you grow as a person, and as especially doing something that you want to be a specialist at, which I do, and I have become a specialist at doing things like this because of the way I was taught to do upholstery. So I'll never forget that guy. I still visit him, even though I've left the workshop to work for myself now. I still go down and see him. I'm still welcome there. And I've even to the point where he's happy. He doesn't normally outsource work. Like when I worked there, he never outsourced work. He only outsourced work to one person, and that was the guy that he did his apprenticeship with. So he knows that he is a good upholsterer. And now that I've left, he's offered me the same thing. You know, I can do some work for him because he knows I worked there for 13 years. So he knows the way I work, and I know what he expects. So yeah, he will probably outsource work to me one day. He hasn't done it yet, but at the same time, I haven't asked him for anything yet either. So I'm just busy enough at the moment. So, you know, when I left, I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know how the business was going to turn out. So far, it's going well. Had a couple of setbacks. Number one, I got COVID. So that's a funny story. When I started my business, I worked for 2 days and then I caught COVID. So my first 2 weeks, I actually only did 1 week of work because I was bedridden for about 3 days with COVID. Obviously I had to isolate. I could still work, but I missed maybe 4 days in the first 2 weeks. So that was not a great start. Then I was okay for about a month. So I worked through. So besides that first week, and then at the start of August, I had a big lounge on this. Imagine this scene here, but being this big. Big lounge, big heavy lounge. And all I did was I went like this. I lifted it like that. It's way heavier than this. And when I lifted it, and then I pushed it like this, and then went to grab it and pull it back like this, I pinched a nerve in my back. Yeah, and pinched a nerve in my back, and that took me out for 4 weeks because it was right on my lower back. I think it was in the number 3 the number 3 spine joint down here, like right off your hip, like the third one from the bottom, like the third one from the tailbone, really low in the back. So every movement like this, or twisting just aggravated it so badly. And even walking, I couldn't walk properly. You know, I was walking like trying not to move my back at all. You know, it was real bad. That's the worst I've ever done that. Just a pinched nerve. I went to the chiro for about 5 times in 3 weeks. Wait, 6 times I went. 6 times. And eventually it got good. After I said 4 weeks, I was off work for 4 weeks. So that wasn't great. So now here I am in October, nearly late October. I'm still trying to catch up that 4 weeks. This job here, I picked this up right before. Like I picked this up and the job that I did my back on in the same week. And here we are in October, about 6 weeks later, 10 weeks later, and I'm just starting this. So yeah, I've been super busy. I wanted to stream. Like when I started my business, I did want to do this. I wanted to stream more. That was one of my goals, that I wanted to stream a bit more. Because before, when I was doing my streams, it was weekends, you know, and I could only stream for an hour or a bit because I'd always get interrupted by, you know, being at home and stuff. You know, kids and wife and such, because it was the weekend. But now it's a weekday. I'm home by myself. And I'm talking to a camera. Which is fine. I don't mind doing it. There's not much to really explain here, so I'm really drabbling on about nothing, aren't I? So feel free to ask questions if you have any about anything. But we're nearly done here. I've nearly done all of this. I'm pretty close to where I want the seat now. It looks a lot better. It looks a lot higher. And it feels, when I push down on it, it's not sinking as far as before. I'll probably still do a bit more. There's only this much left, so we're nearly there. I do want to make sure I put all of it back in. At least I know what I took out is going back in. This is very dusty. And the next step after this is hessian. And like I said, I have to go out and get it in a minute once I've done this. So I'll leave you all for a minute. But if you're here now, thanks for hanging out. And if you're watching the replay, and obviously if you want to see more, just hit that like and subscribe button, will you? That will really help me out. I'm trying to get to the, my goal is 500 to start. 500 subs would be great. because I do plan to do more streams. I do. The streams will be a lot more consistent, I hope. I just need confirmation from people that, you know, I'm happy to stream, as I said, and I'm happy to show people and answer questions if people have questions about upholstery. And that's what I'm doing this for. I'm also here just to chat with people. You know, I could be here and I can chat to myself, but no one's listening. This way I'm just chatting and people are, might watch it. I don't know. It's literally just my voice, so I probably need some music, right? I probably should have some music on. I've got a CD, I've got a music player over here, but I have to have DMCA free music on YouTube, so I don't have that on my iPod. You're here, Dark Wolf? Hi, mate. Thanks for hanging out, mate. Appreciate it. We're in the final stages of building our seat with coconut fiber. This is probably the hard part of building a coconut fiber seat, is doing this. This is boring work. It's boring, it's dirty, there's dust flying all the way up my nose. I feel like I'm going to sneeze any second now. The dust is horrendous. It's not glamorous. This is not glamorous. And this is all we've got left that we need to put back in. There's quite a bit of a delay. Yeah, bit of a delay. Yeah, look, I'm streaming from my phone. So I'm using my phone 4G, which is usually fairly fast. But I am in the red. It's in the red right now. Because I've only got like 2 bars of service right now. And it's probably because of the rain outside. So yeah, I'm sorry about that. If I was connected to my house internet, it would be a lot faster. But I'm 15 meters away from my house, so I can't catch the Wi-Fi signal. So yeah, I'm sorry about that. As long as the stream quality is okay, I mean the delay is fine. But yeah, I'm definitely just sitting in the red. It's consistent red. I have a feeling that I'm trying to stream it like, I've probably got my thing set too high. Maybe that's what it is. I might have my bit rate set too high, because it's sitting at around 6,000 at the moment, so maybe I should drop it and make it something like half that. because I'm only... Yeah. Can I adjust my bitrate while I'm live? Who fucking knows? Can I change my bitrate? I'm gonna see if I can change my bitrate right now. If I can change my bitrate, it might be a bit better for you. I appreciate the come on thing. I'm also using like my whole where did I change my bitrate? Advanced settings. Hold on. I'm nearly using 100% of my CPU just to stream right now. I think it's because of my bitrate. I should probably change it. Alright, where do I change my bitrate? Yeah, high priority, that's fine. Bitrate, where are you? Dynamically change bitrate when dropping frames. Yeah. Let's put on. I'm sorry about this. I probably should try to lock my... Where is it? Trying to figure out how to change my bitrate. If anyone knows how to do it, where it is in Streamlabs OBS, that'd be great. I thought I did know where it was, but I'll take off dynamic bitrate drop. Done. I'm very sorry about this. I still don't know where it is. Still haven't found it. It's in the settings somewhere. I'm sure it was in the stream settings. But it's trying to stream it. It's trying to output it at 6,000 and that's just too high. Sure it's in. Could be an output, right? Oh, there. I can change. Hold on. There it is. Alright. Can I change this? Alright. I don't think I can change it while I'm live.